What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 108 of Behind the Tool Belt with TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer. TC Backer. TC Backer.
Live. Here we are.
TC Backer family, what is going on? Episode 108. It is the second episode of the year 2022. I think, right? I just I think it's the third episode.
Yeah, third.
I think it's the third episode. Yeah, it's the third.
Close enough.
Actually, it's probably like the fifth because episode 106 we had like all them audio issues.
we did.
We had to keep ending and starting and ending and starting. So regardless, I hope everyone is enjoying their week. We got some snow that happened at the beginning of the week. Go figure here in Pennsylvania. We have another special guest that it is nice and sunny where they are. They're loving the weather, and we're just up here jealous.
That's right.
Surrounded by snow and
Waiting on
17
more
degrees.
snow to come.
Yeah, I know. It's supposed to snow tonight again. So that's great for the snowplow guys and all that kind of stuff. It's about the white gold that they say.
That's right.
But yeah, so we have Elizabeth from Business 411, podcast only roofers, live from sunny Miami, Florida. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
Awesome. Well, at least you got the correct year, 2022. I think I said 2021, 2020 at least 30 times today.
Yeah, it's tough. It seems like it all ran together. It's just a big blur. Thank God it's 2022.
Yeah,
though,
man.
Finally. So hopefully this year will be a great year for us. So what's going on? You have much more going on than Business 411, and you got this Business Bolt and this roofing industry news. Give us a little background on how you actually got started in the industry. Then let's dive into all the other juicy stuff, and then we'll try to embarrass you as much as we possibly can with some really uncomfortable questions later.
Yeah, okay. So I love that.
I'm just kidding. I asked you if there was anything that you didn't want to talk about, and you ignored me. So I figured, game on.
okay.
We
Yeah.
took the gloves off. Okay.
Yeah. No, everything is fine. I think I believe in being authentic and being vulnerable when we need to. So first of all, thank you everyone for watching and being here today. I love your guys' show. Thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you.
How I got started in the industry. I started my first company when I was 16, and I recruited a bunch of girls to be in a modeling group. And so I basically went door to door, handed out flyers, and brought together about 30 girls within a week. Auditioned and now became a booking agent. I moved to Miami when I was 18 and decided that I wanted to further my experience into sales and learn more about the world. And when I got here to Miami, I got a nice dose of reality. Miami is not the place to look for a beginner job with no experience. So I just kept getting denied. I had to wait tables basically just to survive. And thankfully I was able to work at a really nice place. I worked at a resort and I was able to earn a nice living. But yeah, nobody would hire me when it came to sales. And so I would stop people at the mall. That's finally the first sales job that hired me. Was one of those people that's like makes you stop and say, hey, your skin really sucks. Why don't you buy this $700 cream? You look like you're 108 years old. After finally I got a job, I was so tired. I I showed up at iRoofing and I just sold myself. I was like, look, I know I'm just 18 years old. I know I'm going to be 19 in a few weeks. Please just give me a job. I'll learn whatever you guys want. Just anything that it takes. Please just hire me. So the owners at iRoofing gave me the opportunity and trained me and took me under their wing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That right there, I mean, that's kind of what the American dream's about, right? You know,
Absolutely.
you figure it out. You move to a big city. There's a lot of people that move to the big cities and have those reality checks.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the big cities are where a lot of the corporate America is based, and you know, usually if you're getting stationed in a big city like that, you usually have a wide variety of experience and all that kind of stuff. But it shows perseverance, and that explains a lot as to why you're so successful in the industry, because you just don't quit. You know, you figure it out, and eventually your time will come. You know, and you just got to take those opportunities and go with it. So that's awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that is good stuff. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
you can't be afraid to fail for sure. I've failed so many times in my journey so far in life, but I don't see it as failure. I just see it as another opportunity.
That's
Right on.
perfect.
That
Yes,
is.
that's
That's how we look at it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
They're learning experiences, you know, and we wouldn't be where we are without them. And it's very easy, and this is why I think a lot of people don't succeed. It's very easy to get those forks in the road, you know, and decide to take the pit stop and try something new, or just give up and accept defeat. But if you look at your experiences and you take everything out of them, you're gonna grow out of it, you know. Even if you don't necessarily
100%.
know why you failed, you at least know what not to do next time. You know what I mean? If you don't know what you did wrong to make you succeed,
Right.
you know what I mean?
It's called experience.
Right. You may not know
You're
like
gaining
what the correct
experience.
answer is or how to figure it out, but at least you know why it didn't work this time, and you just
Right.
don't do that again.
Right,
So,
and the important thing is that you don't let it keep you down. You keep moving forward, and it's funny that we're talking about this because we're doing the Fearless 44 right now. And so before this, I was at work. I ran home. I had to get my hour of exercise in, and I'm on the treadmill, and I'm like doing like this walk, hike, run thing, and this guy's got me all over the place, and I'm busting sweat. I was gonna
Yeah.
say something. I'm busting my ass, and I'm sweating all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was funny because I had this moment of like, I'm working towards something as I'm standing still, walking on the treadmill, but it's like I'm working and there's a goal at the end of this.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it sucked at first. It sucked 19 days ago or 20 days ago, whatever day it is that we're on right now. But it sucked getting back into that routine. You know what I mean? I kept telling myself like, you know, man, I can't, you know, I stopped drinking Red Bull 20 days ago, which
Wow.
it might not sound like a big, you know,
Right.
goal for
I know
someone
how
or
big
habit
that
to
is.
quit, but dude, for me, I was up to like 4 or 5 Red Bulls, like literally living on them, like using
I had
them.
to stop the Red Bulls as well, so I can understand that struggle.
Right.
I haven't had it since like December, but it's basically because my husband's really strict. So
Oh,
Yeah.
well, good for you, because I know that's not easy
Good
to
for
do.
him, man.
Right.
Good for him.
Well,
yeah,
and good for you because it's
Yeah.
not easy, but it's
It
just
isn't.
crazy how much more natural energy and stamina that I have today. But anyhow, I was just like, I'm walking and it's like, you know, I'm working and I'm working. And it made me feel good because I actually felt like I was accomplishing something. Like there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel good today. And it feels good to be able
Yeah.
to set your mind to something, a goal, you know, that's not necessarily tangible, but you know you're going to get there, whatever that is. And really, I don't even know what my
Absolutely.
goal is with this whole exercise thing right now, but it felt good.
Just to be better than you were yesterday. If I had to answer your question for you, I know. I mean, I feel like I know you pretty well, and I know that you're constantly on this self-improvement thing, and just be better than you were yesterday, brother.
That's right. Thank
I
you.
love that.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm gonna give you guys a tip that this is really how I structured Business Bolt and
Oh,
what helps me, because what I do all day is plan for success, right? That's what I spend over 50 hours a day, not just for myself, but for other people. And when you're planning for success, the first thing you have to do is set your objective, right? So it's great that you feel that energy, that momentum, but if you don't have a strong enough goal, right now, it's not going to carry you through there. Right now, you have momentum in your life, so it's going to carry you through really any goal that you set. If it's your goal is to walk for an hour, because you have momentum and positive energy that you're building. And energy doesn't mean the sunshine's great, the sunshine's here, it's all beautiful. That doesn't mean positive energy. Positive energy is the way that you as a being, because you're on that self-improvement journey, that's what you're attracting into this earth. That's what you're putting out for other people by creating more opportunities. So we talk about objectives, putting in the plan, putting in the action, and then creating momentum and leveraging that to just take off in any direction that you want. That's one of the things that happens once you have one company, right? Which is why we started now planning enterprises instead of just doing companies, because when you have momentum in life, after you've gained traction and you learn those 4 steps, you can plug and play anything, anything that you don't want in life.
That's really a great tip, because a lot of people I don't think like that. Like in the beginning when you were struggling, it's like, I don't know if you had a goal or not, but you just knew the way that you were living wasn't the way that you wanted to live anymore.
Right.
But when you start having that moment of clarity, when you finally get that opportunity, to be better and be successful, you ran with it, and then you started to set goals and you started to hit those goals, and then that felt good, and then you wanted to achieve bigger goals. Yeah. At least that's how it was for me.
Well, that's what I call is reactive success versus proactive, right? Reactive success, you put in the work and so success happened. Proactive success is you plan out what that looks like ahead of time, and then you challenge yourself, right? So it brings out a different beast within you, because when your goal in life is to just be better and to not, like for me, one of my things was not to go hungry, because I experienced a lot of hunger as a child, a lot of poverty. So my first goal was, I'm never gonna go hungry again. I'm always gonna have food, water, light, a car, and somewhere to live, right? Then what I had to do to escape that just reactive success and become proactive success is learn the rapid planning method. And I studied this from Tony Robbins for about 2 or 3 years, and it changed my life. The reason why is because it changes the way that your brain intakes information. When you're just asking yourself certain questions, if you listen to how you talk to yourself throughout the day, for a lot of people who might be watching, I would say about 70% of the things that pop up in your head are probably negative. They shouldn't be something that's on your mind. It's just another reaction in your brain. And with the rapid planning method, the way you change that is you ask a question. So every time a thought occurs, you figure out what's your objective, or if that thought even aligns with your overall objectives of life. And if it does, you focus on it, you put your energy into it. And that brings me to like my first tattoo that I ever got was the word focus. It's crazy. Everyone told me that, but I was like, you know what? I have to do something crazy in order to commit.
Awesome.
Did you get it in Miami?
No, I got it in Colorado.
Gotcha.
I have a friend of mine that has a tattoo shop in Orlando. So if you're ever in Orlando, hit him up. His name's Ed Bell at Game Face Tattooing.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have
he's
to
down
check
there
him out.
now. So him and his wife,
Maybe next year at RoofCon you can go down there and get a RoofCon tattoo.
Yeah, he wasn't down there when we were down there this past year, but he's got 2 shops, one in Rehoboth Beach.
In Delaware there too.
Yep, he's down there now. But no, that's good stuff, man. Like, do you just sit around and like think about this shit all day long, or do you like what kind of education or just where do you come up with this stuff? Because a lot of it makes a lot of good sense.
Yeah, so I'll start off with the education aspect. So my story is pretty crazy. I never made it past the 9th grade. Like I said, I grew up in extreme poverty, and my mother got very ill. So I had to fend on. I was living by myself at 16 years old, working a job already, and had to take care of me. So I had to find my education somewhere else, which set me to go on YouTube back then. And this was 7-8 years ago. I'm only 25 right now. And literally Google, how do I think positively? Like, how?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I found a video from, it was Tony Robbins that just said, like, look, whatever you want in life. It does. He shared his story of what happened to him. And ever since then, I have spent, I would say, over $300,000 in courses and books and learning materials and seminars in 7 years. You know, people don't even spend that to go get a doctorate degree or a PhD, but that's what I've spent to learn different things. And then I learned business statistics are, what process does, what structure. So, and then studied marketing as well. So I am a giant nerd. That's pretty much what it is. Today, I did planning classes with 7 other company owners at different times, one-on-one, and putting yourself around those kind of people where you can ask them questions now, like what you're doing on this podcast. Now you're changing the game. You got access to people.
Yeah.
By what? Asking them questions that you feel like it.
Yeah.
So now you're changing it. That's proactive now.
Right on. I love that. It's like, you must be a sponge for knowledge, and I love the fact, I really admire you, because I'm kind of a scrapper myself, and I envision you being, scrappy. You don't take no for an answer. If you want something, you go get it, and if you can't have it right now, you'll fight to get it. So I admire you. You're a wonderful person, and I think what really attracted us to you the first time down at RoofCon was the way that you presented yourself and the way that you carried yourself as a professional. And speaking of which, so I Facebook stalked you for a while to try to just come up with some topics to talk about, right? Well, you're definitely strictly business. You're all business. There was a couple personal pictures and stuff like that, unless you have another personal profile that I'm not aware of, but I'm scrolling through to try to maybe pick up some, some personal little things. You had your son getting a haircut, and your newlywed husband, a couple pictures there, but mostly you're strictly business, and I dig that, because so am I. And it's like, I eat, sleep, and eat this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I dig that.
This is my personal life.
Right.
If you're not committed to if you don't find joy in what you do, I find joy in what I do. So that's why my life has become very fulfilling through this experience, because it's not a hassle to get out of bed. It's not a hassle to learn something new. It's not a hassle to study. It's an opportunity. And that's the biggest shift that anyone can make in their mind. It doesn't matter what industry or what you do. The day that you decide that you're going to live with intention and you're going to find purpose, and you're only going to bring things into your life that feeds your soul, because the last thing you want to do is one day be on your deathbed and realize, I did not live a happy life. Like, I did not find things that fulfill me. So one of the things that recently has happened to me is, because I have so much responsibility on my shoulders, I started really struggling with anxiety and getting panic attacks. So now I realize, like, okay, I need to reshift myself again and reinvent myself. But that's the biggest problem. People don't look at themselves and say, hey, maybe what I'm doing right now got me here, but it's not going to take me to the next level. So now I have to sacrifice who I am right now. This person might be great. My beliefs might be great, but it's not going to get me to my next level in life, and it's not going to get me to my full purpose. So thank you so much, current person that got me here, current state of being. We're now on a new road. Right. And that's what you're doing with your Fearless 44.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And we talk about that all the time. Like, what we did 5 years ago won't work today. We're constantly evolving and changing and keeping up with the times. Creating new processes, new structures, and all the time just constantly trying to improve those things. And you have to. Yeah. I mean, it's a must, and it's funny you say that, because I found myself in a similar situation where, I don't know if it was anxiety or fear or a mixture of all kinds of emotions and stuff like that, because I was wearing 15 hats and I was mediocre at all of them, but I couldn't let go. Because nobody could do it as good as I could, but I was creating so much stress. It wasn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? Because for so many years, I had fun doing this, and I am today. Don't get me wrong, but I hit this wall, and about 4 years ago, I brought Chris in, and honestly, I think that's when things really started to change for me, where I was able to trust somebody enough okay, to not just give them a task, but a job, one of the jobs that I was doing, okay, and trust him to do that, because even if he did it 70% as well as I
Mm-hmm.
did, he was doing it 100 times better than I was at that moment. And when I started, that light bulb finally went off, and it was like, okay, it's not no longer the how, it's the who. Who
Mm-hmm.
do I need to hire? To surround myself with good people, smarter people than I am in certain areas. And that's why I said earlier, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I was smart enough to know that I needed to surround myself around smarter people. And that's where I think where I got my that luck, or whatever you want to call that. I lucked
Mm-hmm.
out on. I was able to find the right people, and right now we have a great freaking team. We have over 50 people
Yeah.
that work for
Well,
us.
I just want to chime in. I understand what you're saying, boss, but that's not luck, man. You
Exactly.
attracted us, bro. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Thank you.
your leadership, your work ethic. I came into this company coming out of numerous jobs in the roofing industry. I came in here as an installer.
Oh, wow.
Where the owner of my companies that I worked at before, they sat behind a desk. They didn't even know what drip edge was. You know what I mean?
Wow.
They just had money. They had daddy money that was handed to them, and they decided to open a roofing company. You know what I mean? And when the owner would come on the job site, you would know, because he had this nice shiny hard hat that didn't have no marks on it, and was walking around with a clipboard and asking questions that he shouldn't even be asking. You know what I mean? And it's like, didn't show up
Well,
with
it's
Gatorades,
also
didn't show up with, it's 160 degrees up here, dog. You didn't bring me no Gatorades? Like, I'm thirsty.
it's a stigma in our industry that has really existed, right? And what's that stigma? Oh, I'm the owner. I don't need to do X, Y, and Z, right? And because you're someone that does not conform to those values that says, I'm the owner, this is my responsibility. Even if you go to the mindset of you're wearing 12 different hats, the owners that shift from that mentality, in my opinion, that are able to make that shift are some of the best owners
Mm-hmm.
versus the ones who don't feel like anything is their responsibility. Because if you feel like 12 things are your responsibility, and your one responsibility just becomes that 12 people do what their one responsibility is, a level that you can impact others to perform is substantially greater than the level that someone who feels like no one's good enough to do anything, they're not good enough to do it, you're not good enough to do it, and they're just going to criticize you and put you down. Those
Mm-hmm.
people make the worst bosses and company owners, because again, they can shift their minds at any point, but it's going to be so much harder, and their work ethic is not going to be the same. So that's also something I learned in my journey as well. I went from one person to 15 in 13, 14 months.
Awesome.
And I had to learn how to become a better leader, and now I have people that are depending on me. I don't just have to feed myself. So that was actually part of it. When I started Business for One, I was a single mom. And I became a single mom and quit my job and started a company within 30 days. Why? Because I got sick of it. I got sick
Yeah.
of that old me,
Hmm.
that person that was living in a relationship that wasn't happy, that was working a job where I wasn't fulfilled, that wasn't producing the results I wanted in life. And instead of continuing to blame other people, I took responsibility and held myself accountable. And I left empty-handed and started a completely different life. It hasn't even been it's been what, a little, almost 2.5 years now, and my life is completely different. And now it's going to be completely different in 2 years, because I'm making a new shift. I'm evolving again. That's really what it's about. And now you guys get to evolve together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now you get to hold each other accountable. Now you get to do Behind the Tool Belt on Facebook Live. And guess what? You may be doing it on TV one day. You may have a
Right.
different named show. So that's what life is about: seeing the opportunity and finding people to do really cool things that make you happy with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I love it, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
love it.
Good stuff.
So I have a question. I actually already know this answer, but I know that some of our viewers don't know the answer, because they don't, you know what I mean? They might not know who you are. How did you get into the specific roofing industry? You know what I mean? Like you have the podcast, Only Roofers. You started out in the roofing industry, just from what I heard from you from RoofCon and everything. But can you explain to the viewers, like, how did you get into, the men's roofing industry? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
put those quotes up there because,
Yeah.
we're very big advocates of females in our industry, because I'm telling you right now, we wouldn't be half the men that we are at work without the girls that have our backs.
Absolutely.
Between some of our installers that have women on their crews, to the girls that make sure that all of the bills get paid, that make sure that our appointments are booked properly, that know how to deal with the customers better than some of us can at some days. There is so many different roles that are played, and even CEOs of companies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How did you get into our industry?
Yeah. So 100% it's all about the people on your team. But for myself, the way that I was able to learn and grow was once I roofing, that company gave me the opportunity. What my job was to cold call contractors and ask them how they measured roofs, right? And I basically had to create this position from scratch because I was like their first employee. So I had to create a script. I had to figure out how I was going to get leads. I had to figure out if I was going to go knock on contractors' doors and with my iPad and try to convince them to stop climbing ladders. And this was in 2015. So the advancement that there's been in technology for us since then has been insane. Right. So in 2015, when I was first starting, I would say, hey, how are you currently measuring your roofs? Oh, I'm ordering an Eagle View. Oh, I'm measuring by hand. And I'll say, look, I don't want to take up so much of your time. Give me an address right now. Hop on a Zoom with me just for 2 minutes, and I'm going to measure that roof for you. You have an appointment to go to today? And so then I'd get the guy on the Zoom, and I would start measuring the roof. And I would always accurately measure, I would say, within half of a square. Whatever their hand measurement or Eagle View was, without a fail. And so I did that thousands of times, thousands. And I got tired of cold calling. So I was like, look, I know how to use social media. I had that experience before where I had, started my own networking group with the girls when I was 16. So I was like, okay, I have the knowledge, I have the personality. How can I put myself in front of more people? So I went, at this time, there wasn't too many Facebook groups, but there was a lot of profiles. So I searched all profiles that said roofing and added them all. And then made a video on Facebook Live and said, it wasn't live at the time. I uploaded it and I was like, hey, my name's Elizabeth. If you guys need roof measurements, I'm here to help you. And just like that, my DMs just got full. And within there, I broke all of their sales records. I started posting on their social media. I did a YouTube demo. You can still probably find it of me measuring one of my first demos. I was actually pregnant in that video, but that's what it was about. I was not going to be mediocre in this industry. So I had a big binder, the roofing education manual book that I just released that we wrote. It's over 120 pages. I'm releasing my new book on commercial roofing coatings. And then we're doing one on just insurance restoration. But that all started with a freaking giant binder that I went to roofing suppliers. I went on YouTube. I read every roofing blog that was in existence at that time and wrote everything I could think of, asked the right questions, and kept on asking. And every time I would go to a trade show, because I went to probably over 50 trade shows just for that company, I would ask everyone in the room questions. And you know what happened? All of the men who were in the industry mentored me. All of the men. The business owners, my bosses, the suppliers, the manufacturer reps, all of them were like, holy crap, this is a girl who actually wants to learn our industry and she wants to be successful with this. And that's when I realized that the idea that people have in their mind of, oh, this is a male dominated because the men push the women out, it's actually not true. I always say that I wouldn't be where I am today with so many great leaders that were men that mentored me and taught me. And they did it without any weird interest or anything like that. Just out of, holy crap, like a girl actually wants to learn this. Look, sit down. What do you want to learn? This is how you run a roofing company. What do you want? So that is what fueled my passion. I was like, wow, like I have the opportunity to get as much coaching as I want. So every call I did, which was I spoke to at least 300 contractors a month, I would talk to them about anything that I wanted to. Like I would just be measuring the roof and asking them anything. Oh, how do you guys sell roofs? Oh, cool. How's that affect your sales process? Oh, so how are your leads going? Oh, okay. So if you write your estimate like this, how do you guys usually close? Oh, okay. Are you using your books of data for anything? And I would survey hundreds of people every single month. And then I decided to quit. And when I started Business 411, for the first 6 months, I was just trying to survive. I was trying to keep a roof over my head, make sure that my son and I were okay enough to live. And then I decided I'm going to thrive. And right before the pandemic hit, and I brought my partner in, and we really just my partners are the two most badass women, and I can't use another word, so I'm sorry for cursing.
Nope.
But they are the most badass women I have ever met. They work hard. They are as much of it's like the other versions of me and with different skill sets, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
my very long-winded answer.
Right on. So I guess at that point in time, is that when you discovered that was going to be your niche?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see the light bulb go off. Like when you were talking and the excitement in your voice, that was good stuff right there. Great story.
Thank
Really
you.
is.
I feel very grateful to this day. It was and you know who taught me the most? The really old guys who couldn't even like turn on their iPads, and I would have to sit on the phone with them for hours. And I was basically making no money off of this, but I was learning. And
Yeah.
at the time, I didn't know how impactful that was going to
That's
be to me.
priceless.
But
Right.
now I know. I was mentored by guys who've been roofing since they were 2, 3 years old, fourth generation roofers. And I was able to find hundreds of those men who wanted to give me answers and share their stories. People want to talk. People
Right.
want to teach you. All you have to do is actually shut up and listen, and you might learn a thing or two.
Yeah, so you definitely are a sponge, and we like to say a lot of times, you are who you surround yourself with, right? So if you want to be successful, you need to be with the people that intimidate you and put you outside your comfort zone sometimes, and know when to ask questions. I'm gonna drop the line again this week. I learned this awesome quote last week, and I'm gonna say it whenever it can apply. If you ask a question right now and be a fool for a minute, or don't ask a question, you'd be a fool for a lifetime. Right? So always ask the questions. Always ask the questions. And we were talking a little bit before the show started on how awesome it is where our industry is today, and how acceptable it is to ask questions to other people in our industry. You know what I mean? Like, we're in this. I know you're in the roofing and solar community Facebook group. Awesome group. We have Roof Hustlers that we're in. There's a couple other local contracting groups that we're in, and it's like you can throw something out there and nobody. I mean, I don't want to say nobody, because you do have trolls on the internet, but for the most part, people are going to jump out there and try to answer things. And sometimes they'll even be like, "Hey, man, give me a call." David Taggart's one of them.
Yeah, man.
He'll throw his personal cell phone number out there and say, "Hey, call me," and have a 20-minute conversation with somebody about how he faced an objection at a door.
Right on.
He doesn't get paid for that shit. You know what I mean? You're clear across the country, and honestly, I would be willing to bet that man would do it to somebody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area selling roofs. You know what I mean? Because there's
character is how you show up,
Right.
And the reason why you can't try to always be the smartest guy in the room or the smartest girl in the room is because there's intelligence is just a matter of perspective, because you only know what you know today.
Right.
And the second that a new perspective gets introduced and you feel it challenges your ego, that's where ignorance comes, because high emotion equals low intellect, right? So one of the biggest things that has helped me be able to be a sponge is to not have an ego when it comes to learning, and to realize that some of these guys are a dying breed. Like, there's not really much fourth generation roofers out there anymore. There's not many third generation roofers out there. So like, be humbling myself and not trying to be that typical young person who thinks they got it all figured out because they made a couple $1 million in sales. That's where you truly can make a difference in your own life and others, because you're now going to impact a new set of people. Like, now other women are going to come in and say, wow, if Elizabeth could do it, if Elizabeth could change her life, if Elizabeth could make her get out of poverty in the construction industry, why can't I? And that's what makes us more human. This is a human experience, and we're all the stars of our own shows. But there's someone out there right now who you're going to impact, and you don't even know it right now.
Yeah,
they're waiting for you. You're going to come in and you're going to change their life.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I can add a little bit of input as to why we don't have so many fourth generation roofers, and you can insert any word you want in front of, or instead of roofers, in any of the trades. I'm assuming that you're close to my age. I'm in my mid 30s. So,
No, I'm 25.
okay, so I was completely wrong. But there's that
She
personal
did mention
question.
that earlier, man. You missed that.
Did I?
Yeah,
I missed it.
you
But
glossed your
regardless,
brownie points on me.
then you may even be able to add into this even more than I can.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in school, it was frowned upon to do anything other than go and get a degree in college.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're not getting a degree, you're not going to be successful.
Correct.
And you know, one of the things that we promote so much in our local area is the
Workforce Now
Workforce
program.
Now program.
Yep.
Yes, for the York Builders Association. So they basically take kids out of school, get them in the trades, get their hands dirty, and let them know, like, look, you know, you can make six figures being a plumber. You can, you know, you can be an electrician, and it is okay. You can raise a
And you don't have to go in six figures into debt to make six
Right.
figures.
You start off with an entry level job making $35,000 a year trying to pay student debt. You know, with a $400 a month student loan payment. You know, you're setting yourself up for failure. But at the same time, I'm not saying that you can't be successful going to become a doctor, going to be a lawyer, you know, whatever you want to do to be that. But there is an alternative that is acceptable and sometimes more lucrative. I mean, you could end up owning your own business, becoming a CEO of multiple businesses like yourself. I mean, you're 25 years old and are a CEO of multiple businesses and very successful.
Very.
So that right there is the poster child of you don't need a degree to be successful. You didn't even finish the 9th grade, correct?
So I did not finish the 9th grade. And then I had to get my GED. And once I got my GED, when I dropped out of school, because I knew that it wasn't because I was dumb, it was because life happened. I went that same week and I got my GED. I took the exam. They were like, wow, you're really dropping out of school. You just passed the GED, right? And on like the practice one right away. And I was like, I really have to go to work. And that I had to get my GED. So when I went to college, I realized that I didn't go to college again. Like I didn't try to go to college till I was 19. And I realized I lost the ability to sit in a class and learn textbook information because I had a new perspective on life.
Right.
It was no longer important for me to read a book on literature that was irrelevant. I needed to go make a change. I needed to go do something right now. And I could not wait. I could not waste 4 years of my life sitting and listening to someone who was miserable. So my perspective changed. And that's what I said. It's all about your perspective in life. But there's so many different people that you can just find in this industry that come from so many different backgrounds and just learn from them. And that's what I enjoy the most is learning from others.
Yeah. This is such a great story. I mean, everything. And when Chris was talking, Chris has a
This is the
little-
first time I really have trying to go into my story. Like I told you guys before, I'm trying to be more vulnerable and be more open because I was embarrassed for a long time that this is where I came from. Like I was embarrassed that I grew up so poor. And that was very embarrassing for me. But I've decided that it's not embarrassing. It's part of who I am.
No, you need to wear that on your sleeve, honestly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like
Seriously.
you said earlier, you're helping other people right now, sharing your story. There's no reason to shut the door on it or forget your past because you can use that to actually help somebody else. So I'm digging it. It's such a great, I mean, everything. I would have never thought that. And that's what's cool about this, you know, and like you said, you are being authentic. And that's something we've tried to do over, I guess, the past 12 months or so with our show is to make it more authentic and not scripted. And, you know, that's why I didn't send you a whole list of questions. It's like, you know, it's going to be quick. It's going to be simple. It's just, who are you? Who is Elizabeth? Where did she come from? How did she get in our industry? And, dude, you're banging on all 8 cylinders right now. Like, you're killing it. Like, seriously, like all around. Like, where you came from, where you are right now, awesome. Good.
What we really talk about in our company is what we do is we focus on changing the perception of homeowners and people in general about contractors, right? Branding is just the channel to change the way people see it. There's a reason we're trying to make cool graphics and cool things because we're trying to grab the world's attention. And you can't do that by continuing to live in the same square as everyone else. And that's what one of my favorite things about Tony Robbins. Again, I love him so much. I love that man. He literally says that we all live in these boxes. We live in a box house. We drive a box car. We go to work in a box and sit in a box while we're thinking on our box and watching our box, which is your phone, and working on a box.
Right.
And then you may have a cylinder at the end of the day just to change your mood, right? A beer, something, a drink.
Right.
So when I was like, wow, like I need to stop putting myself into this standard, and what the heck do I actually want? And that's what the RPM method's all about. Stop just listening to the answers your brain gives you, challenge it, ask a question, and then ask another question, not just to other people. How often do you ask yourself questions, right? Whenever you think about something, you can just either A, let your brain go in a rant, or B, you can grab a hold of your thoughts and be proactive. And that really, I had to change my entire mindset on how I viewed myself in the world to be able to just even get out of that what I grew up in. So, and that's how I was able to do it. If anybody is interested in that's watching this and wants to learn like how I was able to change my life, learn the rapid planning method. And that's how I do business planning now. So part of business planning is just defining what you want and planning for the success that you want, and then reverse engineering it. So just to give you an idea of some of the companies that we have, I also have now that we have such a huge community, we're now teaching everybody who is making money how to turn that into passive income through real estate. So we funded within our first 30 days of launching almost $8 million in loans within the first month. And the reason we were able to do that is because now we're around successful people. And so what do successful people want to do? Go buy stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we can give people money. Like you want to buy a house, you want to buy a building, we have someone who's building a subdivision that we're giving a construction loan to. So now we're in a different position in life. But I never would have been able to be here if I was still that 16-year-old girl who didn't think that I was going to make it in life, and I could barely get food on the table.
That's inspiring. That's inspiring. I don't know if you have our live stream up right now, but our viewers are eating this up. So they
Thank you.
They are definitely fans of your story.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely do not be afraid to share that story, Elizabeth. I mean, that's what makes you who you are. That's what makes you so successful, whether you know it or not. You know what I mean? You know what it's like to be back there. And that's why he's so successful. That's why a lot of people that we work with are so successful, because we know what it's like to be there. And you make that choice every day when you wake up, to not go back there ever again. You know what I mean? Whether it's the guys in Roofers in Recovery, the guys that we have that attend meetings in our industry, because we know that is a thing in our industry. It's a very glaring issue in our industry. No matter what that thing is that you don't want any more of, being in that place allows you to understand that you don't ever want to be in that place ever again, right? So it's awesome. Don't ever be ashamed to say that.
No, for sure. And don't ever
Sometimes the darkness is more inspiring, because you're going to do everything to run the hell out of something scary.
Yeah, you're not afraid of the dark 'cause you grew up in it. You know what I mean? That's where you're from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you can excel a lot better when you get put in those situations.
Oh yeah,
so,
for sure.
yeah, that's good stuff, man.
It
I
is.
just want to make sure that the viewers know, don't ever be ashamed of where you came from. You know what I mean? Don't ever forget where you came from.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
the people that forget where they came from. Those aren't the real winners.
Right on.
For sure.
Yep. And once in a while I'll say to myself, don't forget where you come from, bum.
Yep.
Because literally I was a bum, and your story's a little bit different, you were put into a situation, but a lot of mine is that I put myself in that situation years ago. So you got a great story. Like, I got goosebumps right now, like, for real. And I know everybody, like Chris said, is eating. I'm not like, yes, they're eating it up. It's inspiring. I mean, it's great. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
That you decided to come on our show, because we're just a bunch of dumb roofers that decided to start a podcast. 108
We call it our
episodes.
garage band, man.
Yeah, it's like our little garage band, and all we were trying to do was sell gazebos, or actually auction gazebos for the Workforce Now program, and we didn't know how to let people know, hey, we got these gazebos and we'd like to auction them off. And somebody suggested, hey, try a Facebook Live. So we did, and it stuck, and here we are having awesome interviews
2 years
with
later,
people,
yeah.
with you, and we learned, from doing this from people like you. But I got to admit, man, this is probably one of the best ones that we've ever had.
Thank you.
Yeah, hands down, this is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm going to get so much from this.
For sure.
Yeah. And what I'm going to tell you about the dumb roofers comment, it's not true. You guys are not just some dumb roofers. You are hardworking individuals who
She wanna
are
sell it behind the
literally
scenes.
Yeah, like it's not dumb roofers. I promise you, I've heard that so many times from people that I work with, and I'm just like, dude, do you know how many people you could tell like what you accomplish in a day and would be like, how do you do that? And that's the first way that we can make a change is stop saying you guys are dumb roofers. You're not allowed to say it anymore.
Promise.
If I hear you guys saying it, I'm gonna call you out on it. Because if you want people to see us differently, you guys can't say that anymore because you're not dumb roofers. You are intelligent people who are out there taking care of people's homes and solving their problems. And the way that you guys are going to make an impact and make people remember this show forever, you're not just some dumb roofers that got into gazebo. You had an opportunity presented to you guys and you decided to think outside the box, to stay consistent and make a show. And that is how you change it from, remember what I said in the beginning, reactive success, proactive success. Till today, you've had reactive success with your show. Today is your chance to turn it into proactive success and never say you guys are dumb roofers again. Or I'm going to drive to wherever the heck you guys are at.
Actually, can we go there? Because it's cold here.
Yeah. We'll meet you halfway in the Carolinas somewhere.
Yeah, it's punishment for me to go over there.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
So we got to ask the uncomfortable question. We ask every viewer that comes on here the uncomfortable question. What, you're successful, right? I mean, I don't know exactly how successful. I don't want to get into details or anything like that. But I'd imagine that if you really, really wanted to, you could stop doing whatever you're doing right now and just live. You know what I mean? What gets you out of bed every day to put your best foot forward, to not only just show up for work, but to perform at a high level? You know what I mean? You're a successful person. What keeps you grinding to be successful and keep helping people and doing what you're doing?
Yeah. So my biggest fear in life, and the reason it's surprising, I know that most people wouldn't say that fear is what gets them out of bed. Fear is what gets me out of bed. I'm scared as hell to disappoint myself, to run out of time. Like I always had this crazy feeling that I was going to die young. So I have just worked so hard because I feel like I'm going to like it, and I don't know how to that feeling came about, but I always felt like I was gonna die young. So I'm scared that I'm running out of time. I'm scared that I could disappoint someone. And instead of using that and making it a crippling fear, that's my inspiration. That if I do die young, I want to have lived the best life. That if I do die before, I don't want to die with any accomplishments, anything unaccomplished. I don't want to take my dreams to the cemetery. I want my dreams to live on forever, and I want them to be here for all the generations that are going to come from me, from my son that I have now and the children that I'll have one day. I want them to forever know that their mom, grandma, great-great-grandmother, whoever, their aunt came to this planet and made an impact and changed people's lives, and they will forever be respected for it because they came from my bloodline. So that's me. It's my legacy. And usually that's what men say, like their legacy, but I'm a woman and that's my legacy.
Hunter somewhere is eating this up right now because he loves him some legacy, man.
Man, everybody is on here, dude.
Yeah, dude,
you're blowing it up right now.
That's
you are definitely blowing the internet up right now. God, that gave me goosebumps. Like, that's probably the best answer.
That was a genuine answer. You know, we've heard money, we've heard our kids, we've heard the typical
family
stuff, and I'm not knocking anyone's reason. No. You know, because whatever that reason is, grind that shit.
Right.
That's your reason. I'm happy that you found your reason, because some people, correct me if I'm wrong, but some people live their whole life and never find that reason. You know what I mean? And you're fortunate, and I'm glad that you touched on it, that you get to get up every day and do what you love doing. I tell people all the time, I sit and interview sometimes when we interview employees. I tell them that, I'm fortunate and I get to come to work. I come to my happy place. I call this my happy place. We've all been through things. I went through some dark times in my life, and coming to work every day was with my people was my happy place. That's what got me through my divorce and got me through, the things that I went through in my life.
Divorce is hard, man.
Right.
It's so hard, man. It's like this failure that some people cannot overcome. And it really just takes them to a different place in life. When I went through my separation, man, it just changes something in you. But what makes me now be a better wife. I'm scared. I don't want to get divorced again. It's that
Yeah,
fear. So
it can be a good thing though. You know what I mean? I've gained a
yeah.
lot out of it. You know, I have a wonderful girl at home right now that
Hmm.
I would have never found without it. You know what I mean? But I did go
Yeah.
through those times, and my point being is, I get paid to come to my happy place every day. You know,
Hmm.
how awesome is that? Other than like athletes and stuff, you know, people that you watch on TV, you know, a lot of people don't think that they can do that. You know,
Yeah.
but you absolutely can find something that you love and just fucking grind the hell out of it. You know what I
And
mean?
even you might not love the in like for me it wasn't that necessarily that I love roofs. I do love the concept of roofs, but I love the concept of being around smart, interesting people who work hard and helping them get 0.5%, 1% closer to what they want to accomplish in life. So that cumulative effect over my life is just so that is another thing that inspires me is because I can just do like this much to help someone who's already successful and they're just going to take it to another level, like beyond. If I even give them a seed, they're going to turn that into a forest because they're go-getters. So
Right.
that's what the multiplier effect is all about. You take the impact and the results that you would make as one person and you pour it into other people and you create a compounding effect.
Right.
And that's legacy. Shout out to Hunter.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
that's good
love it.
stuff, man. That's really good stuff.
Damn.
Thank you guys. Wow. I honestly appreciate all the positive feedback. Like, honestly, that thank you so much. Like, I appreciate this opportunity. I can't believe that you guys invited me here. But again, I need to realize that, a lot further in life than I used to be. So, this is an amazing opportunity. And everybody who's watching, you guys can accomplish anything you want in life. There, all that you have to do is figure out your own version of what's going to get you out of bed.
Right.
Because
That's 50% of the battle,
Yep.
you know, and you know, I can say that I've wanted to actually say that on a couple different things that we've talked about today. You know, the first one being when Ty was talking about, you know, realizing that time when it's time to let things go in your company and realize that you need to allow 12 people to do the 12 tasks that you're trying to do. You know, like you said, you know, instead of spending 12 hours a day trying to accomplish 12 tasks that require 12 hours a day for each one of them and not getting any of them done, spend an hour a day making sure that 12 different people are successful doing those tasks. You know what I mean? And
multiplier effect, that's beautiful.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
And you know, don't be afraid to be humble and accept that maybe you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? Maybe there's somebody that has a better way of doing it. You can teach old dogs new tricks, and it's never a bad time to ask
Hey,
a
watch
question,
that.
you know.
I'm not that much older than you.
I don't
You know what I tell my employees is just figure it out. That honestly, that is my motto for all of them. Figure it
right.
out. You figure it out. You figure it
That's
out.
the
You can
it.
figure it out.
That's the
You
it
know it.
that we want to that we want to attract. You know,
Yep.
that's one of the
Yeah.
things that I try to tell people when I'm talking to any of my guys in the field. It's like, look, you got to figure it out. What would you do if you weren't able to call me right now? What would you do? You figure it out. You know, some people don't have that figure it out gene. We
No.
like to call it around here having that it.
Yeah,
you know,
the
the it that you can't teach people. You can't teach people how to get out of bed. You can't teach people how to show up and put their best foot forward. You can't teach that.
Right.
You can't teach that. That's something that is burned in you as a child. It is, you know, you're born with it or you're not. You know, you either accept or you want more.
You know,
all
and
the time.
as
Or
a
you
leader, the
the
hardest
only way
part.
you become it is through extreme circumstances. Sorry
Right.
about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No,
Go ahead, Ty.
honestly, I'm trying to get better on not cutting people off and listening to our stars of the show, and me doing less talking. So, I mean, you're doing a great job. What I was going to say is when I was thinking when you were talking there, Chris, you know, as a leader, and one of the hardest things is trusting people to say that, hey, you figure it out. Because it's so easy for me to want to get in there and explain to them or just get out of the way. I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a technique and it's something you got to work on. It's like being a leader is like exercising. I'm going to go back to the exercising metaphor here. It's like a muscle that you got to train. You know what I mean? And it's tough. And for you to nail it in such a short period of time like that, you know, and there's just more great things coming for you because it only gets better. Especially
Thank
with the
you.
mindset that you have, like it just gets better. And keeping that open mind, like you said, you have to remain teachable. Have to. It's a must. If
Yes.
you want to operate at the level that you're operating at and will operate at, you have to remain teachable. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned from mistakes over the years, is that I have to listen to people. I have to listen to what they say. I have to take that into consideration, even if I don't like it and it doesn't make me feel good or it's very uncomfortable. I have to listen. Like, we had a couple situations over the past couple of days, and it's like, I kind of just stood back and watched to see how it would unfold. One of them I had to intervene, not intervene like break things up, but give some feedback, to try to get things back on track. But these guys have their own little meetings and stuff. I don't have to be at the top of the table at every single meeting that goes on. These guys are making decisions day to day, and I'm talking big decisions.
Do you know what? That's so beautiful. The second thing that happens after you do that, you have a chance to listen to you now.
Right.
When you let other people talk and do their things, now you can go somewhere and you can talk to you, right? And everybody should make time to do this. Everyone should make time to listen to their own voice, listen to their own ideas. I do it through journaling. It's gotten me through everything in life. It's going to continue to get me through life. I read my journals from years ago, and everything I wanted to be at that time, I am now. But when you journal and you get your own thoughts out of your head and you bring them to the life and stick to your guns, right? Because everybody always used to tell me, the first thing that everyone told me when I started Business 411, you can't do 10 different services. That's not proper. Like, that's not a good company. Good luck. You need to stick to one thing and that's it. And I was like, you need to stick to one thing and that's it. I don't need to stick to one thing and that's it. That's not my personality. That's not going to keep me entertained, because you can't handle 10 trades on your jobs. That's your problem.
Right.
I've got God-given talent and I'm going to bring it to the table. So it's also knowing when to stick to your guns too, because there's going to be a lot of the people. Always listen to people and take their feedback, but stick to your guns on the things that are your core fundamentals and your ethics and your purpose in life. Don't let anyone switch that up. And if they can't execute on it, move out the way, because someone else will. I've learned how to fire very, very fast. I fire people very, very quickly, because this table is for people who are meant to eat together. And
Amen.
that's at the end of the day what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ty, just to kind of add in here, man, I know the other night I said something to you on the phone, and it completely feeds into why we're able to have these meetings by ourselves. I went through an issue with somebody that works for a builder. We do a lot of new construction work up here, and I run the new construction area in Maryland, right? So I was going through it with one of our builders. It was in a situation I've never been with. We were cussing at each other, screaming. Like, I'm not like that. That's not how I do business. I don't do that. But I also will always stick up for my men. And I had a situation where somebody was trying to say that safety wasn't an issue for my men, and I don't agree with that. I want everyone to go home every day to their families the way that they left. Right. So regardless, I was talking to Ty on the phone. And, I told him, I appreciate you for always having my back. No matter what, no matter what the instance is, whether I'm right or wrong, this man has my back. You know what I mean? And if there's something that I did wrong, he'll let me know, but he's not going to let me know in front of someone else and make me look like an asshole. You know what I mean? He'll coach behind the scenes, and that kind of positive reinforcement, or even sometimes negative reinforcement when it's needed, but not making an ass out of somebody and allowing me to make those decisions that you pay me to make, and just see what happens with it. You know what I mean? Like, you're putting the ball in my court, and you got to live with the decisions that I'm making now. And he always has my back, and that's why everyone on our team is able to succeed and do those things, because we know when it comes down to it, the leader has our back. You know what I mean? And even if it's a bad decision, he's going to say, look, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. But regardless, we're going to live with it because I pay you to make those decisions.
Isn't that such a good feeling? Absolutely. When someone has your back? Think about everyone that you could have their back down. Right. Like, now you're in a position where you could have other people's back and give someone else that feeling. Like, think about how you just spoke about him, that love and admiration, man. I can't wait to see all the people that you're going to impact to talk about you like that. Like, that what you guys are doing is on John Maxwell's the levels of leadership. Now you are like right there at the top, Ty. Like, you are creating other leaders around you, and you're going to have your own teams of leaders. Like it's a beautiful thing to see. And that you guys have literally created you're the real life example of what we talk about, market perception. We have 10 steps for market perception to impact. The second one's building value, education, trust, collaboration, team, impact, right? So whenever you go to create an impact, none of it would change if you didn't have collaboration, if you didn't have a team, if you didn't bring awareness and education to each other. And I just love it. I love your guys' culture. I'm going to go over there and I'm just going to, wait for the spring.
Yeah, you don't want to disrespect yourself like that and come up here.
I don't.
We're actually talking about having our own little summit, like a day or 2 day summit to bring
Yeah.
all of our people in. And,
In the summer.
in the summertime at a nice little facility that can hold 200 or 300 people, and get some good guest speakers in like you, some motivational speakers and educational speakers like that. I really always wanted to do something like that. Like, I don't know if
It's your time.
Huh? What's that?
It's your time.
Yes. Just, if just, even if it's just for our people, Universal Supply, bring them in, bring GAF and their people in, and just something on a smaller scale, not Win the Storm or anything like that, but just something on a smaller scale to help develop our team, because we go places, RoofCon and things like that. And last night at 9:00, I decided I'm going to fly to Texas tomorrow morning.
You're going to SRC?
I am. I just off the whim. It's like, look, screw it. I'm going. We're going.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
So
absolutely love
we're
it.
going there, but it's. I love going there and bringing it back, the message back. But if everybody, from the service guys to everybody, can experience what we get to experience at these conventions, like, I want to bring that to them.
Yeah,
That's called again, sorry, I always refer everything to Tony Robbins, total immersion, right? So how do you build the momentum to take massive action? Immersing yourself in whatever the experience is. Imagine all of your crews being immersed into the same experience, sharing the same momentum, sharing the same energy and space. Do you know that you can build that on your daily schedule? Something really, really, really different that my company, what we do is we have every single morning at 9:00, one of our employees, one of our team members giving a presentation about something they value and want to share that with the team. And it's a 10-minute slideshow that they make. Today was about staying healthy. One of our employees, the guy who runs Google Ads on the team, totally wouldn't think that that's what he was talking about. He just told everybody, look, in order for you to perform at your peak during work hours, this is what you need to do. You need to turn your phone off 30 minutes before you go to sleep. Stop watching TV. Stop clicking through social media. Stop drinking energy drinks. Find more natural. So, like, literally gave everyone a 10-minute speech on how to be better at work by getting more rest when they're at home. And every day we have a crazy, completely different meeting like that. Sometimes they're really funny. One day it was like one of the art guys did like a drawing exercise. So every day for 10 minutes a day, someone gives a presentation within the company.
Awesome.
That's a really
That's a
good
great
idea.
idea.
Man.
That is a great idea. I love that.
We were talking before the show, and I was saying about how awesome it is to have like all the young minds and everything that people are doing for the industry. All the crazy ideas, and I don't even want to say crazy because they're not crazy. You know what I mean? It's only crazy if it doesn't work, right? You know what I mean? Then we can call it crazy. But people bring all these different mentalities and things to the industry, and it's just really refreshing and awesome, man.
It is.
Really is. It is.
For
Kudos to you for being a trailblazer in our industry.
Yes.
I see
Thank you,
we're
guys.
running out of time here. I definitely mark a spot for us for Only Roofers for RoofCon, right?
Please, if you're going to be at SRC
RoofCon, right?
or at Win the Storm, we can Win the Storm. We're going to have the full setup there. So you can do it there or at SRC, either one.
Okay. Unfortunately,
I
we won't be able to make it to Win the Storm. We have home shows that week that we're involved
Oh,
with.
okay.
Yep. There's no way. I won't. I'm spreading myself.
Well, do you want to take a trip to Miami for 2 days, 3 days? Come
Perhaps.
to hang out with us.
Maybe I can talk Jana into it. I'm sure it won't be
There
too
you go.
difficult to
There you
say,
go.
hey, honey, we're going to Miami. Well, actually, next
I
week
don't
we'll
think
be
you're
at
gonna have to talk her
IRE.
in.
Next weekend we'll be in New Orleans at IRE. So, and then I got to get back here and focus some more and stop playing around so much. But anyhow, listen,
it's not
before
play, man.
right,
It's not play.
before we listen, you have to come back on for like a part 2. Like I want to see the progression of you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, in
Yeah.
like 3 months. Like every 3 months, you need to come on our show. Like I need this energy at least every 90 days.
I got you guys. I got you. It honestly, I would love to. And honestly, 3 days is about the time frame before I learn some next round of really cool stuff. Today, I learned some really, really cool stuff, but I can't explain it well enough to implement it yet. But I'm always scratching the surface on the next phase of learning. And when I look at things, I look at them differently every single time and always ask myself different questions. So I can't wait to share with you guys the next round of things that I've learned, because that's all that I'm doing is learning. And that's what I get to share with you guys today. So I appreciate you having me. And I appreciate you guys sharing energy, providing me a space where I felt comfortable enough to be myself, to be vulnerable, to share my story for the first time at this level. So thank you guys so much. I honestly really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. It's honestly mutual. You know what I mean? It's great having you on, and I wish you success in everything that you're doing
Absolutely.
and all your next adventures and everything, and look forward to seeing, watching from afar on what you guys got going on. So,
Right on.
enjoy your weather down there in Miami. Drink a margarita for us, and
Will do.
we'll see you
Secretly
soon, for
hating you
sure.
right now. 'Cause you're
Thank you guys. I
Yes.
appreciate you.
TC
Thank you
Backer
everyone
family.
for watching.
Yes,
you.
TC Backer family, thank you guys for watching, always supporting us. We have a ton of comments to go through here today.
Yes.
Elizabeth, if you have any time later
Yeah,
on,
I
we
will.
do have a lot of people that were reaching out and saying some things to you here. So
Yes,
you can
I'll
find
comment
all the
on it,
stuff
yep.
on our TC Backer construction page. If anyone is watching that is new to the show, make sure you hop on our Behind the Tool Belt page and the TC Backer construction page. Give us a like. Hop over to Elizabeth's pages. Give her some likes. Show her some love, TC Backer family. And thank you guys for sticking through once again another episode 108.
Yeah, man.
Consistently, we have our viewers on here. And we'll see everyone next Wednesday for episode 109 of Behind the Tool Belt with TC Backer Construction.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
Yep. See ya. Thank